Welcome to Judgment Day. We got to talk about what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Just yesterday, we reported as a channel that Joel Cano, a Democrat judge from New Mexico, was arrested by Donald J. Trump. And not by Donald J. Trump, but by the FBI, and you know where that's coming from. Anyways, something huge just happened. We got another arrest, and we got to talk about what's going on because, as you can see right in front of me, the Democrats are panicking, and a lot of people are, commenting and they're saying, "Oh my God, how can you support this, Lou? They're arresting judges because they're Democrats. We're a Nazi Germany," and a lot of people are panicking, including Kyle Kalinske. Kyle Kalinske says, "Emergency breaking: the Trump regime is now arresting judges." They are now arresting judges. And so the narrative now is that they want me and you to believe that these people are being arrested for absolutely no reason. And that Trump is doing this because he's a fascist. And they're now saying that Hitler he arrested judges too. He arrested judges too. He's turning this into Germany. It's pretty crazy what's going on. So the FBI is making moves. Finally, the FBI is making moves. Pam Bondi is making moves. Let's go.
Under arrest and facing charges, accused of flouting federal law to help an illegal immigrant. Federal prosecutors say Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly helped that migrant avoid arrest by ICE officers at the courthouse. It's a bizarre case.
Is that not an arrestable offense? Again, I saw this post. I want to show. So this judge was locked up. She was arrested for her actions, right? You can't make this stuff up. But I saw this post and I thought it was very interesting. I had to share it with you guys. Make sure to smash the like button. I'm doing a live stream. We're talking about what's going on in politics right now because all the Democrats are panicking right now, especially the ones helping, these gang members and illegal gang members, illegals who are here illegally, obviously, but they're gang members with crazy ties to some of the most violent gangs. And I saw this post. I want to read it to you. Maybe some of you guys would agree with me on this. Maybe some of you guys don't. But America is being destroyed by white liberal women. Look at the judges that are ruling against Trump's orders today. When the mushroom cloud is on the horizon, remember that white liberal women did this to America. And when you look at it, these are the judges. White liberal judges are apparently the ones that are fighting Trump on all of this the most. They're the ones that are, willing to be arrested. They're willing to be arrested, guys.
It's still unfolding. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. Sandra, good to see you back again.
All right. Good to be back with you as well, John. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and this is America Reports. So today's arrest of a judge marks the second such case in the last 24 hours. A former New Mexico judge and his wife were taken into custody yesterday. Federal agents arresting them for harboring a suspected Trinidad gang member in their guest house.
For more on all of this, we are honored to have in.
Yo, this is crazy. Like, what is going on?
The new U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi. It's good to talk to you, Pam.
Good to talk to you.
So let me read a little bit from the criminal complaint here. And Judge Dugan says, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him. According to this complaint, Judge Dugan was visibly angry that ICE was there to arrest Flores Ruiz, even tried to kick the deportation agents out of the courthouse.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He
was being arrested for domestic violence. And then ICE came to pick him up after this court case, and they fought them on that. A white liberal woman. What is going on with these white liberals, bro? White liberals really hate America. I got to say. And so they went to go pick him up there. And then she got mad. Mind you, this guy probably just finished beating the shit out of his wife. Right? This guy probably just finished doing some of the most horrendous stuff. And ICE came to pick him up. And So they're again, when you look at who they're defending, who they have living in their homes, this is something out of a movie. Like, this is something out of a movie. Like, never in a million years did I think that these judges would be fighting the Trump administration, the FBI, and in contempt because they don't like Donald Trump so much that they're defending someone who is a part of a gang, who's an illegal, who just finished beating the shit out of their wives. And they're like, nah, they must stay in America. And so the Trump administration is like, you know what, Pam Bondi, we're not going to play any games with you. Now, Pam Bondi, I'm going to be honest with you, Pam Bondi. What's up with the Epstein files? We will never forget that. You know, we're still waiting for the Epstein files. That was a flop, but you guys have been killing it. Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi are now, you know, they're literally laying on their foot. But this is one of the wildest stories I've ever heard. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a wild story, man.
Up two people, a guy and a girl, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave, while a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow.
You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America.
No, look, guys, I got to be honest. Again, what is going on? And this is why they're panicking. Again, like, you know, Democrats are making a show out of this. They're not even telling you the real story behind this. And this is why I made my channel. It's because we're going to go and I'm going to tell you what I don't like. And I'm going to tell you what I do like. But this is the real story behind this judge being arrested, right? We found out that a judge was smuggling, you know, probably. This is unbelievable, man. I'm having trouble even coming up with the words for how crazy this really is. And so they go. And now they're all over the news, all over the media, making shows, panicking, and basically saying that Trump is going to deport everybody. Now, you still have people out there with common sense and, you know, going out there and really trying to learn the story of how these judges are very aggressively trying to stop Trump's agenda. But look at the steps and how far they're willing to go and what the media actually won't even tell you about what they actually did to be arrested in the first place. And now they're smuggling and they're falling in love with these gang members who have crossed over, who were already deported before, more than they really care about people in the United States of America. And that's a huge problem for the United States. That's a huge problem, man. And judges are out of control. And so the Trump administration has declared war on anybody that's out of control. And as you should. So, yeah, look, man, this is such a wild story. I really, like, I'm still in shock and at disbelief that this is even a thing, that Democrats are actually fighting for criminals, as they already been doing for American criminals at this point. But liberalism and white liberalism is being called out here. Yeah, no one's above the law. I couldn't agree more, but this is. Yeah, these are the judges, man. These are the judges who are opposing Donald Trump. White liberal boomers. Shout out to the boomers that are not on this type of time. Shout out to the boomers that have adjusted to the times, because I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Yeah, this is are these even judges for real, or are these activist judges? That's the real question we got to ask. So, yeah, I thought I'd come on here, talk about Pam Bondi. This video is blowing up on the internet. It's everywhere. Yeah, man, this is insane. Worse than I thought it was. Yeah, a lot of people in the comments are just like, man, finally an arrest was made. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Pam Bondi, shout out to Pam Bondi. She did exactly what she said she was going to do. And I'm very proud of Pam Bondi at this moment because this is crazy. But this video right now is going viral. It's going everywhere. And people are realizing that, this is not a joke. This is a real story. And this is what a lot of people voted for. So I voted for this. I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. Yeah, and the white feminist man, like, look, yeah, boomer conservatives, sometimes they have their faults. They definitely do when it comes to Israel, when it comes to, adjusting to those times. But it has nothing to do with being white. No, it has everything to do with being a white liberal. Here's why I'll say that, because white liberals are a majority in America, and they're the ones that try to influence other minorities that are, voting in the liberal way. White liberals tend to have the savior act. That's why white liberals are very important here, because what they're telling the illegals and what they're telling, people who come across the border, and what they're telling them is like, oh, they're going after you. They're going after the black people here. They're going after you, whether you're a legal resident of the United States or if you're a legal citizen, excuse me. And they're telling you, because they're white, that you should take their word for it. That's why I say what I said. That's why that's a strong narrative, because they're the ones really pushing this on you, on everybody. But yeah, that's the story I wanted to share. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, the FBI overall, there's federal arrests being made. These judges, it's getting pretty crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to smash the like button. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.